Hey YouTube, got a little project going on here. Ended up buying this. It's actually a one-owner tractor, but a guy that works for me during my day job, his granddad bought this tractor new, and his father's passed away, and his mom was left with it, and she had been sitting outside for, they told me a few years, but once I got it, I feel like it's been sitting quite a bit longer than that. When I did get it, I took the plugs out and then put some oil in the cylinders and let it sit a little while. Turned it over by hand, and it wasn't stuck or anything. Then I checked the compression on it, and this last cylinder here, I'm going to say it's probably number 4 cylinder. I'm not sure on this. One's probably in the front, but anyway, number 4 back here was low on compression. Had basically none at all. So I took the valve cover off. I've got it off right now actually, but for a different reason. But anyway, I took the valve cover off. One of the valves was stuck open, so I mean, it set long enough that valve had stuck. I was able to work it around a little bit, put some oil, penetrating oil on it, got that valve loosened up, and compression seems to be about normal on it. So this last weekend, I decided to see if I could get it started. Hadn't had a whole lot of time, and I did get to start, but my gas tank was leaking. The shutoff valve was leaking on it, so I got one of those ordered, but I had a 6-volt battery on it, and it was struggling to turn it over. And it's actually got a new starter on it, but it was still struggling to turn it over. And it is a Porny Bay ask. It is a 6-volt starter, but I was hesitant about changing it over to 12 volts. But with how slow it was turning, I went ahead and threw a 12-volt battery on there, and it spun over real great. Started pretty much immediately. And sounded pretty good. Carburetor's going to need a little bit of attention, I think, but it did start and sound pretty good. But so I didn't let it run but a few seconds, and one reason is it had a 6-volt battery on it when I got it, so I'm pretty sure this is a 6-volt coil. So there is no ballast resistor in line that I can find. This 12-volt wire goes back over to the alternator or generator actually currently. We'll be swapping that over to an alternator. But I'm gonna go ahead and move it over to 12 volts. Don't have an alternator yet. Want to make sure and get it running everything right first. I'm waiting on my shut-off valve for this fuel tank, and that's why I've got the valve cover off right now. If anybody tries to change one of these fuel shut-off valves in the bottom of the tank, taking the valve cover off gives you some extra room. So didn't have any trouble getting it out. Shouldn't have any trouble getting the new one in. I've seen people do it with the valve cover on, but it's 2 nuts, and it gives you a whole lot more room. So got that off. For those of you that don't know, I'm going to go through and change this coil today. Not, I guess I should have been working as I'm talking. It's not a real big deal to do it. If I can get these little nuts off this coil. So this would be the feed, the 12-volt feed here from the I believe that one comes from the alternator. Can't see. Do I have a light here? What does it say on that coil? Does it even say anything? So that would be the negative side of that coil. And then we've got the wire here what goes to the positive side of this coil, which actually comes from the distributor itself. Get this light back over here. I don't know if this helps or hurts. Let me see if we can get it on up here somewhere where I'm able to help me a little bit, but not hurt you. Let me look at the camera right quick. See, hopefully that's not too bad. It may mess up your view. Yeah, I believe you're better without it. Maybe I can see without it. All right. Sorry about that. This one here is just put around there with just the wires wrapped around. We're going to put a terminal on the end of that, but I don't know if I can get that off or not. We may just snip that one because it is where it's at. Tell you what, let's do to start with. Maybe we can get a little more room. Let's just take this one. I already loosened that earlier. We're going to take this off. We're going to go ahead and just take the coil off. And I apologize for those of you that some of you out there may know more about this than I do. My dad was a mechanic. I've worked on some random stuff over the years. I don't claim to know everything, but you know, I do. I can get by usually though. If I can get in here, if we can get this coil off of here. I do have a new 12 volt distributor or 12 volt coil over here. So this bracket I noticed was broke when I got it. I need to order a new one. They had it behind a washer. I guess it works, but it's not great. Getting that in there is not going to be. Nothing ever works right when you got the camera on, right? Probably not going to come out of there too well. Let's see if I can get a socket and get in there. Hang tight just a second here. So I do have a socket. Hopefully you can kind of see what's going on here. Trying to get this bracket off. Hopefully it will cooperate. Don't even really have to get all the way off. We just need to loosen it enough that we can slip this old coil out and slip the new one in. There we go. It's coming out. All right, so this coil she got off of it's made by Standard, but got it off of I believe Amazon. Made in China like everything, but it is a 12 volt coil because it says 12 volt, no external resistor required. So if you run a 12 volt battery, 12 volt system on with a 6 volt coil, then you got to have a resistor in there that drops that current down. Rather than doing that, I just decided to buy a 12 volt coil. When we go on here with this, we're going to this wire that come back here from the other side's going to go on the negative. This wire that we had here went back on the positive. Let's see if we can get this in a bracket. That one may actually be a little bit bigger than the other one. That's going to be interesting. Sorry if y'all can't see, I'm kind of got this in my lap trying to hold on to it. Probably would have helped if I'd have found a little bit of penetrating oil. All right, let's see if I loosened it up enough, maybe. Still a little tight. Man, well, let's try more. Let's see what we're dealing with here now. Man, it is very tight. So that 12 volt distributor, or 12 volt coil is definitely, I don't know if it's the difference in being 12 volt or if it's a different brand, but it is definitely tighter or bigger around than that one. But we'll get there. If I'm the only one that hates a flathead screw, but I hate a flathead screw. Especially when it's older and got some, there we go. Slip it all up on there. Man. All right, let's try again. Me fumbling around, but all right, I believe that's going to work better. All right, so the way that was turned earlier, this positive side, and I know it ran, so I'm just putting it back the way it was. You know, it's something I may need to check on, but does it matter? You would think the positive side of the coil, it's actually, that's a good question. So I'm actually messing up here. They were working, but it was working in reverse. This was a 6-volt positive ground. So this is the positive wire, but it was actually going to, well, I say it was a positive. It went to, I don't know. I can't answer that. Maybe I'm not. Maybe somebody can help me on that one. I'm gonna stick it back on here, but the way it was, and I do know it started and ran fine, but we had the ground or the negative wire going to the positive post, and I don't think that should be right. Now that we're going over to a 12-volt negative ground system, so. We're not going to start this tractor tonight anyway. Maybe somebody can give me some tips and tell me that. I will look it up later. But I believe I need to switch this around. And we're going to go, because you're grounding from your distributor. Your distributor's getting the ground. This hot wire should be coming into the coil, I believe, and then going into the, should be going to the distributor there. Because, I mean, plus goes to plus, right, in a normal system. Like I said, this was a 6-volt positive ground. So what we're going to do now then is we're going to set this up. This wire actually, was it long enough to reach over? They had it turned kind of like that. So we're going to put the plus back here. Try to get this set up where it works like this. Really tighten everything back up, but I'm just filling it out here. I'm going to loosen that back screw up. You'll be able to get in there behind it. Don't fall out. It won't fall out. There we go. It's a short screw. It's going to be hard to get back in there. So if we throw that behind that, we throw that there. All right, so we've got a short wire. It's still on this old coil over here that we've got to get. It'll end up going from the negative side to that. That should be fine if this one will reach. Like that one's going to reach fine there. So we'll probably just turn it. I think we'll just turn it like that right there. Put that one back there, that one out front. All should be good. So let me tighten this back up a little bit. We won't be slipping in here. Yeah, we'll go back and confirm that we get this wired right after the fact. Like I said, maybe somebody can comment and tell me, because it may be a bit before I get around to getting the fuel back in it. And I may have to go through the carburetor and do some, but I don't have the battery hooked up right now. I really think that there's not a problem. I think the coil would work either direction, actually. It's a coil. I think it would work in either direction, but we'll be sure we get it the right way before it's going to be smaller. 11, 30 seconds maybe. Sorry, I should have my tools with me. All back. I'm hoping those are 11, 30 seconds, and they're not. They're metric, I'm going to say, because it's definitely not a 5/16. Made in China is metric today. I'm going to guess at 9mm. And I'm gonna guess wrong. Okay, maybe they are 5/16 or same as 8mm. Let's try an 8mm. Made a liar out of me. So unless I'm wrong, 8mm and 5/16 are very, very close. I swap those out quite often. I guess my eyes were off on this one. So I'll say that is the positive side. We will put this on the back on the positive terminal, since that comes from the alternator or from the positive side of the alternator. Like I said, my first dealings with positive ground system, I knew they existed, but I've never dealt with one. All right, so we got that hooked back up. Lay these over here. Go ahead and tighten this back one up. I have already put points and condenser in this a while back. I might take that cap off and show you, because there is something worth knowing in there. I'll go ahead and snip this, since this did not come off very well. The 6-hole distributor. Strip this one. Could have put a new piece of wire on here, but I think this will be all right. We're not doing a restoration. This is just an old project tractor. I've got another tractor that I use quite a bit, but wouldn't take anything for it. But this one here, I used to have this is an 841. I used to have an 861 that was actually power steering, and it had power steering, 5-speed, live power, or double clutch as some people call it. It was a good tractor. I really liked it, but I upgraded to a 20-year tractor a few years ago, and I've actually upgraded again since then. But not great, but I think it'll be all right. Imagine that. My terminal is not going to fit. Always something. All right, ain't that? You know, we may go ahead and just put a new piece of wire in there. That one doesn't look too great. Since that's a native, surely I've got a piece of black wire around here somewhere. Grabbed the wrong size terminal. Rookie mistake. I should have tested that one. It won't fit over either one of those. In just a second, let me see what I come up with. All right, hope nobody left me. Sorry to run off. I've got this camera on tripod. I should have took it with me. But let's see what we can come up with. I found some 16 gauge black wire here. I think that'll work for us to go from here to here. We're just going to need to find the right terminal this time. Got some of these slip-on ones like this. I don't think that'll be a problem. Will it go on there? Will it go on there? Ready then? Maybe this one will go on here. That one will go. So I don't know if I have any. Yeah, here we go. Here's a round terminal. It'd be better if it didn't come off, right? Yeah, we got the round terminals. We'll be all right with those. Or we could use one of each. I don't know. That actually fits there pretty good. This other one does actually. It fits over. It's got a flat spot on it. Let's do that. All right. Go ahead and let's get this piece of wire here. Maybe something like that. This is 16 gauge. I'm guessing that looks like about what that was. I don't believe it was any bigger than that. Throw a terminal on it. Give her a good crimp. Don't want to pull it out. Strip this other end. This wrapped Up there, good. All right, I think we're good now. That one we will put that way. We'll throw it on here. Don't drop this. Not left-handed, but we're making it work. All right, that one started on there. Let's see if we can get this one. Looks like that's gonna be fantastic. I'll put down a little bit. We'll put the wrench on that one and tighten it up. That one tight. Get that one tight. All right, I think we're good to go with that. Our coil wire needs to go back on before we attempt to start it. Not gonna start today. Like I said, we don't have any fuel. Maybe I can bring you guys back for that when I get ready. I'm gonna take this distributor cap off. Just one thing I wanted to talk about, like I said, I've already put points and condenser on this. I am not gonna take the rotor button back off. There is a clip underneath this rotor button. So if you take one of these off and you're out in the weeds or gravel or whatever, be very, very careful. There is a clip underneath that that helps hold the tension on that and hold that rotor button on there. I lost mine the first time, or it was not on there. I didn't see it on the floor, so I think it might have not been on there. But I did order one, put it on there now. Found that out later that it had one just by looking at something else. Snapped back on here. These are a little aggravating, but all right, it's good. That did not feel like that went down in there like I hoped it would, but I guess maybe it's all right. All right, guys. Like I said, hopefully fuel valve will be in later this week. I've got to put it in. I'll put the valve cover back on. Changed the oil in this thing a while back just to get started. I don't even know if I've got any coolant in it yet. I can hear for coolant, so it looks like there's coolant in it. That's probably the coolant that was in it when I got it. That's probably going to need changing as well. Interesting, it's like a 3-blade fan in there. But anyhow, I will look up, like I said, I do need to look up about the connection on this, but currently I have the negative side going to the distributor. I've got the positive side going to the positive over there. I probably need to look at that over there because it comes off of the generator. Not sure how that works. But anyway, we'll verify that. The generator's going to come off. We're going to put a new alternator on it, which I have not bought yet. Like I said, we won't get it running first. I do know the lift works. It come up some when I started it the other day. We've still got some moss and such on here. Didn't really want to wash it off till I got it running. I bought it, the battery box was rusted totally out. I bought an aftermarket. It fits about like an aftermarket always fits. Not good at all, but got it in there, made it work. Some of the wiring things really, we still have a regulator up in here because it has a generator. Probably just be cutting that loose. It looks like it would be kind of a pain to get out of there with all these rusty bolts and screws and stuff. I did put a new ignition switch in it because the ignition switch was not making up continuity in the on position. That was one of my first issues. Looks like that is the oil pressure wire. Gauge did not appear to be moving. I hope that's a gauge problem and not an oil pressure problem. So that's something else I need to check out once we get this thing running for more than a few seconds. Appreciate everybody following along tonight, and if you like the video, give me a like. I would really appreciate if you subscribe. Invite all your friends to subscribe. Maybe one of these days I can get monetized and be able to make videos to actually maybe make a little bit of money on the side. Who knows? I would like to retire someday, so maybe that's my retirement plan. I don't know. Anyway. 841 Ford, probably about a 59 model. We've got a lot of work to do, but we're gonna try to get it running, get it where we can use it. Back tire on the left side will hold some air, but it's pretty rough shape. So we'll hold it for a little while and it leaks out. I think it's past replacing the tube. The tire is all really broken. So I'm looking for it's 14.9 by 28 on there. Looking for one of those used ideally. Don't want to replace both of them. But anyway, thanks again, guys. Y'all have a good day. 73110.